Hello and happy Monday, and welcome back to our Monday Live. I'm Janet Leonard, and I'm the founder and CEO of Virtual Instructor. And we're going to talk about some cool Chrome extensions today. So let's get started. I'll start out with just a little bit of housekeeping for y'all. And you can find out more information about our Monday Lives. They're 15 minutes every Monday at 11 a.m. Pacific. So you can go to our website at virtualinstructor.com, just click on the Monday Live events calendar. And this week we're talking about the cool Excel Chrome extensions. Next week, I'm going to show you how you can create custom holiday gifts using Canva. And then on December 6th, we'll talk about email mail merge in Word, which is a really cool feature. You might have like kind of a boilerplate email you want to send out, but you want to personalize it a little bit. So it's a nice feature, it can save you a tremendous amount of time. And then on December 13th, I'm going to share some of the newer Zoom updates that are out that you might not be aware of. All right, enough of that. Let's talk about some cool Chrome extensions. So these are 5 different extensions that I use that I think are kind of fun, and some are extremely time-saving. Others are really good if you're creating your website or editing your website and you want to make sure it's compliant. You want to see what it's going to look like with when other people see it, that sort of thing. So we'll start out with the Tab Session Manager, and then we're going to talk about Go Full Page, which I have demonstrated in earlier lives, but I'm going to show it again because it's such a cool system or program, I should say extension. And then we'll talk about what's called Color Blindly, and then Page Ruler Redux. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that correctly. And then we're going to end up with something that I use quite often, which is Small PDF. So hopefully you'll find these are useful. So I'm going to go ahead and hit Escape. And now I want to go back over to a browser, and I am going to close this for one moment. So you can see I'm just at a browser, and the first extension I'm going to show you is the one called Tab Session Manager. And it happens to be this little icon up here. I'm going to click on it. And what's cool about this is I have, when I'm working on certain projects, I have certain windows I'd like to have open, and I don't want to have 80 billion open all the time. So what I could do is I could actually open the ones I want, and then with Tab Session Manager, I can actually save it. And so I have different ones that I use. So if I'm editing a website, I have 5 different tabs I like to have open. So all I have to do is come here and then click on Open. Now it opened it up in my other window, so I'm just going to drag it over so you can see it. But it automatically opened up all the different tabs and the sites that I use all the time when I'm editing my website. So that's kind of a neat feature. And then if I go back over to the Tab Session Manager, if I'm in a shopping mood, I have 3 different websites I like to look at quite often. So I'm just going to click on the shopping one. And again, it opened up in my other browser, so I'll bring it over. And so here I have 3 different sites that I go to quite often when I'm shopping. So I'm going to use good old QVC as my sample for the next several extensions that I'm going to show you. So QVC always has a lot on their homepage, right? So I'm going to scroll down. I'm not trying to sell anything on QVC. I'm just using it because they've got a lot of stuff. And so let's say I decided I wanted to have screen captures of this, but that's an awful lot of screen captures to make, right? Way too much work. So I'm going to scroll on up to the top, and there's another extension called Go Full Page. And that one is this one with the little camera. And this is great because what will happen is when I click on it, it almost looks like Pac-Man's here, but watch what happens. I'll click on it, and it's actually taking a screen capture of that entire page, that entire site. And then it gave it to me as a graphic, or I can download it as a PDF. So at this point I could delete it, but I could download it as a PDF, and then I can also download it as an image, which is kind of cool. Now the PDF is really just an image, but it is a nice long PDF. And when you go to print it out, it will obviously break on different pages. But that's a really nice way, if there's a website that you're interested in, where you can quickly get a snapshot of everything that's on that website. So that one is called Go Full Page. Now, I'm going to go back over to the shopping one to show you just some other ones that you can use. I'll go up toward the top, and I think I'll stop right about here on this one, because I don't know if you're aware of it, but there are a lot of people out there that have some form of color blindness. And so when you're creating your website, if you don't have color blindness or you don't have a particular form, you might think your website looks one way, but it might look different to other people. So sometimes you might think it's really creative how you did like basically things of all different shades of blue, but you don't realize that some people have difficulty seeing that. So here's another extension that I think is really helpful for when you're developing your website, or if you have someone creating your website, you can make sure they're aware of this as well. So this one is called Color Blindly. So when I click on that, it comes up with a little dialog box, and this is the normal look. But then if I wanted to see how it looks in different types of color blindness, watch as I click, it changes the color. So if for some reason you created your website and suddenly when you're trying some of these different options, you can't see things the way you think you should, then you might want to go back and adjust some of the colors that you're using. So this is Color Blindly, and I find this is a very useful tool when you're looking at your website and thinking about what colors you're using and so forth. So I'm going to go back to the top one, which is the normal one. So that one's called Color Blindly. And then another tool that's really useful, let's say you're trying to design your website and you find a website that you really like and you're thinking, I really like the placement of the graphics. I like the size of the graphics. I like that color that they chose, that sort of thing. So I'm going to scroll up a teeny bit and let's pretend we really like this one all about the shoes and bags, right? So another one that you can use is this one called Page Ruler Redux or Redo. I'm not very good with the pronunciation, but I'm going to click on it. And what it does is it opens up a tiny little toolbar at the top. And then you have this little cross symbol, so a little plus sign. So you can just take this plus sign and kind of draw around the object that you're interested in. And then what that does is it actually at the top tells you the width and the height of that graphic. It tells you kind of how far from the left and how from the top and how far from the right it is in the bottom. But what's really good is, have you ever had something where you need to submit a graphic and you have no idea what size you're supposed to create and they don't tell you? So you're kind of like, oh, hi, Todd, how are you? Nice to see you here. So this is kind of a neat little feature. The other thing that's fun is, let's say I really like this kind of shade of lavender. So what I can do is I can go up to where it says color. And when I click on it, you might notice there's a little eyedropper here. So I can click on that and then I can go over to whatever color I'm interested. So let's say I like this kind of lavender. When I click on it, it comes up and it shows me that color. But different programs use different color settings. So if you're in Microsoft products, a lot of times it's asking for the red, green, blue, the RGB color. And here it is. But some programs might want what's known as hue, saturation, and luminous. So here it is. And then you also have the hexadecimal, which a lot of the websites use. So you can come get whatever that color is and you don't have to spend, hours trying to figure out what that is. So that is the one that allows you to kind of look at an existing website. Now, of course, you're not going to take what they've done, but if you like the dimensions, the layout, this is a nice way where you don't have to start from scratch. Alrighty, so the last thing I'm going to show you is something called Small PDF. And I use this one a lot. So if you have documents or something that you save as a PDF and you put some type of protection on it, so you do security and you have a password. Well, I don't know if you know, it's not that secure. It's pretty secure, but it's not 100% secure. So if it's really super important, you've got to go other routes on that one. But most of the time, just putting the security password on a PDF is going to be just fine. But what if it's your PDF and suddenly you need to get in to edit it and you cannot for the life of you remember what that password was? Well, that's happened to me many times. And so that's when I found this program called Small PDF. So it's up here. It is an extension, but it's also is a program. So I'm going to click on Small PDF, and it has, I can convert a PDF to Word. I can unlock a PDF. I can compress it, convert it, PDF to PowerPoint, and PowerPoint to PDF. And then over here, you can get more advanced things that you can do. But I'm just going to go to the unlock. And when I click on it, it then takes us over to an area. And then I happen to have a file. I just was teaching a class this morning. So I had that PDF where they can print it out, but they can't go in and edit it, right? So I'm going to choose that file. So I'm just going to click on here and let me go find that file. I think I put it in the downloads. Looks like it's hiding it from me. So let me go find this really fast for you. So the screen had a little problem readjusting itself. So I have this PDF here. I'm just going to open it up, and I'm not really going to unlock it, but I just wanted to show you. So you find your PDF that's locked and bring it in here. And then this is kind of cute, but you really should pay attention to this, right? If you don't own that PDF and it's been password secured, you shouldn't be trying to break into it. You know, you should only do this with something that you own the rights to. So in this case, I think this is kind of cute. You do a pinky swear that you have the right to edit this file and remove its protection. So, you know, be good about this, because you really shouldn't if it's on there for a reason. But if it's yours and you need to get into it, this is amazing. Now, this one actually does cost money. All the other ones I showed you are free. This one, I think, don't quote me, but I think it's like around $100 a month. I mean, a year. So for $100 a year, for me to get into some of my files that I forgot the password, that was so worth it. So it might not be that worth it to you, but if you need it, it's worth it. So I'm going to choose unlock the PDF just so you can kind of see what happens. Then once it gets ready to unlock that, then I can convert it to any of these different types of documents that I wanted to. Alrighty, so hopefully that gave you some ideas on some of the different types of extensions that you might be able to use. And I'm just going to pop back over to good old PowerPoint, and I'm going to end this with just a quick reminder, because next week's talk is going to be kind of fun. I'm going to show you how you can use Canva, which a lot of people use, and you can actually go in and make custom gifts, and then they'll you purchase them and then they'll mail them to you. So that's kind of neat. And then on December 6th, if you do a lot of emails where it's basically the same to a lot of people, but you want to customize it, so you want it to be a little bit different, rather than do the one email, copy and paste, do another one, that's way too much work. So you can actually use the email feature in Microsoft Word, which is pretty slick. And then again, on December 13th, I'm going to talk about some new Zoom updates, because there's a lot of really cool things that Zoom keeps adding. Alrighty, so thank you. Whoops, sorry about that. Clicked on the wrong thing. So got to get my mouse back. Good old technology. There we go. I've only been doing this for how long? But nice to be back to say happy Thanksgiving to y'all, and I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day. And I hope you find some of those Chrome extensions helpful and time-saving. Have a wonderful rest of your day. Bye.